Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Agency Operators Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Demet Kale of Vatai. How are you doing, Demet?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Pasha. I'm happy to be here.
I'm really excited to talk with you today. A topic that is not actually covered a lot in the US, maybe by some, but I think not enough. It's expanding to Europe, and people get really hung up on the whole compliance and logistics and all of that. And being a provider that makes that easy for people, I think will really help to soften the blow of that type of journey, right? Because many of us who have tried to expand into other territories, we know that it comes with a whole whirlwind of problems. And many of us just say, you know what, I'll just launch a new product in the US. And maybe that works, but there's a lot more green grass in other places if you know how to get there. So we'll save that for a little bit later in the discussion. Right now, I just want to ask you, kind of about your journey and how you started working in compliance in this field, a little bit about your background, kind of what brought you here.
Wonderful. Yeah. So what brought me here? Yeah, I have different, experience so far, but almost 5 years in this business with compliance and working with a lot of e-commerce sellers and expanding them into other countries, not only the Europe, England, and then we have exotic countries like the Middle East or Latin America. So there are so many opportunities, and it's always really great, and that's the part we enjoy the most, to be a part of the journey with the seller and see what the other side of the globe brings for them as US sellers. And we help them through the process. It's not only the compliance itself, which is a straightforward, there are rules and regulations and you have to just stick to that. It's not something you can just work around and be more creative. You have to stick to the rules. But what makes it more creative is to see all the possibilities. And we work closely with our clients. That's why we call ourselves account managers. So we are a part of their journey to try to figure out also in the future what opportunities they can, seek and consider to for their business to grow. And this is what we basically do. And our team in the US office, we have a team in Europe, we have a team in Asia. So we're spread all over the globe where we do compliance in each country. We have, our teams, we have our agents set up, and so we basically help EU sellers expand to US or Latin America or Canada and vice versa. So there is a lot of operation involved.
And
That's basically what we do. Yeah.
so, what do you see being like the primary thing that you deal with? The hesitation just from US sellers jumping over to Europe, or is it something totally different?
I think, of course, for EU sellers or UK sellers, it's much easier to expand in another European country or the UK because everything is pretty close, nearby. Okay. But when it comes to US sellers or Canadian sellers or Latin American sellers, they always hesitate because they're a little bit spoiled. The reason is that US is the biggest market, and it's a great market, and everyone wants to sell in here, and it's also easy to set up. Okay, it's not like the rules and regulations in Europe. It's very easy. You see a lot of European sellers selling on Amazon US or Canada, so it's really easy to go this step. It's a lot of revenue. But what we usually are confronted with is when we have our calls with our clients. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I do a lot of sales here. I don't know if I should because there's so much involved, so much regulations and here and there. So the part which, I mean, yeah, they go online, ask ChatGPT, and then they have a horror story about how to expand. There's so much involved, and usually it sounds very complicated. But if you have the right partner, and after that call, they realize usually that it's not that complicated as it appears if you do a lot of research on your own. So it's always good to have a good partner who tells you exactly how to do and how to start the process. Because what we do is we evaluate first, we check what they're selling, where they're selling, what products are involved, and then usually we have also good partners where we can analyze their products. Like, okay, what is it? Okay, I sell T-shirts. How would I do in Germany? How would I do in the UK? What would be my possible share there? Where should I start off? And usually, when they're not sure, but they would really like to go the steps because it's not too much of investment, we usually recommend them, okay, why don't you expand first in a European country, which is not in the European Union, it's the UK. You don't have so much of administrative work when it comes to changing your label, the language, or whatever. So you can expand with a lower budget and start seeing how your product is doing in the UK. And then when you see, oh, it's great, it's doing good. So let me do the next step and expand into Germany, which is the biggest market of Amazon, okay, and many other marketplaces as well. So when we come to this point, they feel much more comfortable and confident. They say, oh, okay, let's do it this way. And let's say we have confident sellers, they're good, and they're like, okay, I want to expand into many countries. What is my option? Then I always recommend to start with UK for sure, it's biggest market too, and then Germany and France. But what I add up on that information is, so when you enter a market, you are selling on Amazon, that's fine. That's pretty straightforward process. And it's easier to expand into another country if you work with Amazon. Okay. So what I tell them is, please analyze the countries and see what other marketplace options you have. Because let's say they're selling apparel, right? In Germany, there are so many other options, marketplaces like Otto, Zalando. They can also expand after, starting and selling good amount of products in Germany. They should always consider to seek other marketplaces for the future. Even if they don't start selling there, they should consider and plan strategically. So in France is Cdiscount. Okay, that's the local biggest marketplace. In Poland, you have Allegro. So other than Amazon, you should always look for other options in the future, because as a US seller, yes, we said we're spoiled. It's a big market. Everyone does a good sales, but you have to think about the future and see, how can I be more sustainable, because I put a lot of effort in my brand and now it's well known in the US. So when I expand, I should expand to other opportunities so I can grow my brand in the future, because all of the sellers who are not brands, or they're selling, random products, they're going to disappear. That's my personal opinion, because if you just see and realize the fact that Asian sellers are open to the world too, and they're manufacturing. This is a big competition, and they're going to sell the same product half of the price. So what you need to do is, since you're a brand and you appear much, big quality, nice, you put in a lot of work, you should really consider expanding into other marketplaces, even if you do less sales, just to be there and be patient and grow your business. And then you have a sustainable business at the end of the day. So this is what we usually recommend, because European market is 27 countries, huge opportunities. If you're an Amazon seller, you can participate in the Pan-EU program, which enables you to store and sell your goods in the Pan-EU program countries, which are 9 in total. It's like Belgium, Netherlands, Poland, Czech Republic, Italy, Spain, France. And the only requirement is to have 2 European country registrations, which would be Germany and France. you would store there, and Amazon makes sure to distribute your goods, checking the demand and sell your product. So this is a great step, and also you have a lot of benefits from PanEU as well, like reducing your shipping costs by 50%. So there's so much opportunity to consider. That's for the why I should expand. Long story short.
Love it. So if I were a brand in the US, I said, okay, I want to get a taste test. You said we start with the UK so we don't have
Mhm,
to change the label.
mhm,
What's the procedure from there? Just like a little bit more technical. Do I have to open up an LLC? Do I have to get certain paperwork that's another consideration. Certain categories might not need paperwork in the US, but they do in the UK or in other parts of Europe. So let's say, just to make it okay, I sell shampoo from
mhm,
Thailand,
mhm.
and that shampoo doesn't need any kind of really special paperwork coming into the US, just besides SDS, right? Is that different in the UK? And I don't expect you to be like a
Um,
professional in every category, but
Yeah, yes, there is, of course, each product has its requirements. When it comes to product requirements, sort of, what logo, what certifications, what testings I should have, I'm not involved. However, we do testings as well.
no.
So we have a whole different department. I wasn't involved so much because there wasn't so much demand on my end until now, but it's coming. And when my customers are asking me, "Hey, I have this product. I want to just, start selling this as well. What kind of certification or testings I need?" I always ask the team and make sure if we can do it or not. In most cases, 80% we can do it.
Okay.
But that's a one-on-one consultation. Even if we can't do it, we can tell them what they need. Or we have a partner, we can refer them to that company to get this done. So as I said, we really try. The reason is we have all these services, or we can help, is we are a big company. So we have a huge team of 500 people working in different, compliance sections, and we usually have a solution for our clients. So that's a good thing with working with us. So a little bit of advertisement here. So when it comes to the UK is easier. Why it's easier? Because in Europe you have like packaging registrations, you have EU authorized representations, and here and there. So, but in the UK you have a UK authorized representation, but only for CE mark products like electronics or toys. All the products who have a CE marking, you need a UK authorized representation. So everything other than that, straightforward, you just get a VAT registration. And then, of course, you have to make sure that there is a place you can store your goods. If you work with Amazon, you're responsible to ship your products from the US to UK. That part is on the seller. So they have to make sure to find a logistic company, 3PL best. And then they have to find a custom clearance as well, which usually the 3PL solutions, they have that in-house. You get a EORI registration with us, including with the VAT registration. What is a EORI? EORI is for importing your goods into the UK. That's basically you get your VAT number, and then it's like couple of zeros at the end, and then that's your EORI number. And then you can be the importer of record. So if you are the importer of record, you can reverse charge import VAT, so you basically do not pay it. So
Hmm.
that's also good for cash flow, right? If you import that. But sometimes you have smaller sellers where they're like, oh, you know what? Let me just they send, they sell pens, and one, box is having like 1,000 pens, which is fine. And then usually what they do, they're not the importer of record. They use the 3PL solution to do that, because when they ship their goods, they have to ship with other customers together. So it's not their shipment individually. So they have to do the micro import or logistics. So they put everything in once and ship it. So they clear the customs and then ship the goods to Amazon warehouse. That's how it works for smaller sellers. But bigger ones, they would be better off if they be the importer of record. That's what they need. Okay, it sounds very easy. It is easy, okay, if you really find the good partners. So I think 3PL solution, logistic company, is very important. So before they even start considering to expand, they should research all of that. Sometimes we do have customers, they say, you know what, let me get registered for VAT because that's a process. It takes around 2 months and everything with our application. And if you just sum it up, it takes around 3 months. Okay. So while they start the process of getting registered, when they wait for the tax authorities to issue the VAT, they take care of the logistics, find the good partner, and then when they get the VAT, they're good to go and they can ship and start selling. So this is for the UK. Sounds easy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It is easy if you have a good plan and good partners. And let's say they don't have a partner for 3PL, we do have partners because that's the great thing. When you're at events, you meet new people. Like we met Pasha, and Pasha met us. So this is how you come together and support each other in this environment. And when you have a client and you want to help them, you involve your partners. That's how it works. I mean, you can agree with that, Pasha. This is how you work as well, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had another question. This is something I've seen done where somebody wants to try, just like try before you buy type of thing. They just want to
Mhm,
get a taste. So they
mhm,
want to skip the months of waiting and all this registration and just sell a couple of units just to see if there's demand, right? See how fast the product picks up and whatnot. And I've seen that type of model work before where somebody else sells your product from their store on your behalf to give you a taste test and say, hey, look, we sent in 100 units, it sold right away. You should probably go through all these steps and now do it on your own. Of course, that sample test is not to make money. So they're going to lose on that, but at least they'll get a result before they start investing more resources. Do you guys have a model that works like that?
So in that model is, I know that there are like companies who sell different brands on Amazon. I met a couple of people like that. They do a great job. This is how they kickstart people's brands. Okay. And then when they, as you said, they hit a threshold, they say, hey, now you're good to go. Just, open your own seller account and then try it on your own. That's another option, of course. But what I saw, it's like um, for UK, you can take the risk. It's not, UK is also a really big market, and the consumer habits are very similar to Americans. They
Hmm.
love to buy, right? Like versus Germans. I've lived in Germany. I grew up there. Germans are very, they have to think about before they buy 3 months. Okay, that's how they do. They research. They want to be on the safe side. So UK is a really easy market, and if you consider, I mean, everyone who watch this, and if they want to reach out, we're happy to help. The prices to expand and getting a VAT from us is not that big. I mean, it's worth the risk of trying it on their own. If they're really successful in the US, why not there? And I think, as I said, there are partners. They can evaluate um, the other brands who are selling similar products on Amazon, and they can tell, hey, they do this. Okay, they have the data, they can tell exactly what they could do. Of course, they have to put in an effort. They can't just list the product and then wait. They have to invest a little bit more on marketing, etc., with Amazon. And then, why not trying it? Of course, if there's someone who don't want to, take the risk and see what's going on, they can work with those people who will sell it on their behalf.
Hmm. Okay.
That's
Well,
also.
that answers my question. I mean, if somebody wanted to start this process, or even you guys do like free consultation,
Yeah.
just to get to know people and what their needs are, maybe come up with the way to work together. If somebody
Yes.
wanted that, how can they get in touch with you?
I mean, yeah, I'm going to share a link with you so you can, Pasha, so we can share that with everyone if they want to reach out to us. And they can contact me by my email as well, or my team. And we set up consultation call. We see how the business is set up. And then we do also have partners who can give them a little bit of a glimpse of how they would sell. So this is also a free consultation. I can provide that as well with my partners, so they can have an idea on the products and how they would sell. And then we have the roadmap, so they're good to go.
So like kind of a market opportunity analysis, looking
Yes,
into those channels and saying,
yes.
is that based on keywords?
Yes, keywords and they. I mean, it's not a whole big report, of course, because that's a lot of work for them too. This is what they provide as a service, but first, and like analysis of, let's is this a phone case? They know exactly in Germany on Amazon what the other brands or sellers are doing. That's what they can provide. So they have a little bit of an idea, and they can decide actually maybe their product is not good in Germany, but it's good in Spain. So you don't know that. So we always go by the product, not the intention, right? Because Germany can be not good for them, or Spain is better, or Netherlands is better. So this is a good opportunity to analyze that so they can decide on where to expand.
And this is a question before we wrap up. One last question. This is something that comes up a lot. I want to get your take on it. People are always concerned, hey, with these EU countries, like, how can I sell in France if I don't speak French? Like, how can I sell in Spain if I don't speak Spanish? And if you guys are doing, like, I know you guys don't handle the management, we handle the management,
Yeah.
but there's still a lot of this kind of back and forth in those native languages. Like, do you have people who speak those native languages within your company that can handle some of that specific paperwork, or do you get everything translated? Is it just, yeah, so everything's done like kind of in English?
No, I mean, every country we operate in all European countries, UK, in Japan, whatever. So we have the people who speak the language as well, okay? Because when you, let's say you want to sign up or register in Spain, okay? All the documents need to be translated, of course. There is a notarization process. There's a lot of involved. And when you provide a service in a country, you have to have your agents as well.
Hmm.
So it's not like we do that and everything is ChatGPT translated. No, that's not how it works. It's a lot of manual operation, the documents, the translation. So yeah, we do have the language support, etc., for each country.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Demet, I appreciate all this nuggets of gold here. Um, Again, if you want to verbally share your email address
Yes.
for people here who are listening in.
Yes, can I? Yeah, it's Demet dot Kale, like first and last name, at vatai.com. And I'll be happy to share the link with Pasha. I don't know if you can add that afterwards. If people want to listen, after that, they can just use the link as well and contact me. And I'm happy to help as a team here to all of the sellers.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you again for joining in.
Thank you so much, Pasha. It was great.
Yeah, likewise. And thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye for now.
Bye.